Hey, this is John Carlos, and I'm here with a look at the Luca action figure from Dawn of the Planet of the Apes Series 2 by NECA. First off, I'd like to say I'm really impressed this figure can stand. This figure is kind of heavy compared to the other Dawn of the Planet of the Apes figures, and there's so much mass to him, especially towards the belly and the top of him, that I'm really surprised these little tiny feet can support him, but he stands great. Now, taking a closer look at him, they did a really good job with sculpting this gorilla face. I mean, just look at that. Look at the intensity of those eyes. That's some good eye paint. But the sculpting of his gorilla brow and his mouth and the way it kind of curves up to his left a little bit. The way the fur, first of all, the overall shape, the gorilla shape is great. But his mouth and nose, the kind of glossy paint contrasted with the drier paint of his face. His little ears tucked in there. Man, this is a really, really good head sculpt. I dig it. Also dig the kind of almost red paint they're using towards the top there. But the overall shape of the figure, the silhouette that this figure creates, is really, really cool. They did a great job doing his gorilla hair. The hair on the stomach, the hair on the arms and shoulders, the way the hair is sculpted on the back and his butt and his legs. The hair is sculpted very well and also hides that knee joint very well. I like the direction of the hair. And they also did a great job sculpting his feet, including the bottoms of his feet. And I like this gray paint they've used to kind of highlight not only his skin tone, but it also shows off the wrinkles in his feet quite nicely. His hands are well done. And I also dig the fact that his skin has kind of a sheen to it. There's a glossy paint surface, so you have dry here, but then kind of a skin surface there, and I like that contrast. Also, his chest is very well sculpted. All these little groove lines in there. It's sort of a weathered, rough surface skin. I think it looks great. And they did a great job painting his sort of gray back. I like the use of paint there. It looks really, really good. Now, he also comes with one accessory, an alternate head. So I'm going to try to pop this on and we'll take a closer look at that. So the alternate head was really easy to put on, and I like it. In fact, I gotta say I like it more than the regular head, because the sculpt of this is just great. The sculpt of his angry eyebrows, I mean, his eyes are painted well, but man, those brows, and the way his mouth is extending, you can see the sculpted stretching around his cheeks, and then his mouth looks just fantastic. I mean, the fact that someone had to sculpt that tiny tongue and paint it well. You can see the top of his, the roof of his mouth, his tongue, it's all well painted. And speaking of good paint, look at his molars. Not only do they paint these teeth up here, but the actual top of his molars have a little bit of darkness in them. That's some great sculpting and teeth paint. Just a fantastic looking mouth. Even if the pink paint bleeds out a bit, the detail within his mouth is just fantastic. I dig this head a lot. Considering how big this figure was, it had some pretty strong articulation. It had ball jointed ankles, you had the knee joint, the ball hinged waist, the mid-torso ball cut. You had the ball-hinged shoulders, the elbow joint, the ball-hinged, well, it's a ball-jointed wrist, and then you had the bottom neck joint with a ball joint at the top of the head. And this figure is just so cool looking. Now, I don't recall Luca being a very specific, important character in the film. It just felt like someone at NECA really wanted to make a gorilla figure, and I'm totally okay with that. Series 1 was 2 chimps and an orangutan. Series 2 is 2 chimps and a gorilla. I feel like Rocket or Blue Eyes would have been a more obvious character to make, but then you're just going to have more and more chimp figures, and having this gorilla makes it more of a diverse line, and I'm totally okay with that. Even though Luca isn't mentioned by name in the film, there are several gorillas featured in the film, and I'm sure when NECA decided to make a gorilla figure and they talked to the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes team, they found out that Luca was the name assigned to this particular gorilla. So this absolutely does count as a Dawn of the Planet of the Apes figure, and I think it looks absolutely awesome. I'm really happy they made this because it looks great. Thanks for watching.